Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Joni Ogg, and on behalf of travelprofessionalnews.com, homebasedtravelagent.com, and findahosttravelagency.com, I would like to welcome all of you to today's webinar, and I really appreciate that you take the time today to be with us. So, our speaker, I know some of you have been on here before. In fact, so many people probably just keep going to anyone that she does because she's so amazing at it. But known as a straightforward and energetic force in our industry, no question about it. Our speaker today is Jenn Lee, Travel Planner, International Vice President of Industry Engagement and Support. She's not a shy lady, and she's not shy about her obsession with helping travel advisors to build their empires, no matter the size. And her advice, honestly, folks, is always spot on and so relevant. I'm always asking her questions too. So when she's not working, you're going to find her cheering on Bama football, playing with her friend. I did good, right? Playing with her grandchild, Eliza, and more importantly, enjoying life with friends and a nice glass of Pinot Grigio or a bottle, perhaps. So today's webinar topic is Stop Spaghetti Against the Wall Marketing Efforts and Tap into a Sales Funnel Strategy. And two very lucky attendees today are going to win 30-minute consultations with Jenn. So be sure to listen carefully for your chance to win, because that's a priceless thing to get. So remember, please, folks, that you're all muted, but we do welcome your questions at any time. You just go ahead and put those in that chat area, that our question area that you see, and we'll respond to those as soon as Jenn is done, or even possibly during the process, because sometimes Jenn reaches out asking a question for us to answer along the way. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to my buddy, and let's get started. Hi, Jenn.
Hey, Joni. Hi, everybody. And on the day that we're recording this, it's the week before Thanksgiving. So I just want to say happy gobble, gobble, gobble to everybody. We've had quite a lot to be thankful for in 2022, and I'm really excited to end the year with you guys. I think this is our last webinar, right, Joni, for the year?
I think it is, and I'm kind of sad about that.
I know, me too. Well, anyways, guys, I was inspired by this topic during our last webinar that Joni and I did together, which I believe, and with all of you, that was about marketing verbiage, I believe is what it was. Yes. And during it, I was like, oh, the sales funnel. I bet people don't know what a sales funnel is. And no wonder, because most people that are travel advisors, especially if you've tapped in or tuned in for this, are not marketing majors, right? You guys got into the travel industry and launched your business because you have a passion for, showing the world to people in a way that's meaningful and, has lasting memories and an impact. But what I'm finding is a lot of our advisors that I run into are out there just like working like crazy, going to shows, launching Facebook groups. They might be doing their local networking. They feel like they're doing a lot of effort, but maybe not getting the result that they want in the time frame that they want it in. So first question, as Joni says, I'm going to hit you guys with lots of questions, is type in something that you're doing right now, some marketing strategy that you're doing right now where you're not getting the result you thought you would get. Is it Facebook ads? Is it a Facebook group? Is it doing bridal shows? Is it doing your local community event? Is it your networking? What's not working the way you wish it would? Maybe you are getting some sales from it or some new clients, but I want you to be thinking about that. So I'm going to take a second and see if people are typing in their answer.
I got some coming in. All right. So the first one is going to make me laugh. He has a serious answer for you, but he also said that, and it's our friend Mitch Creighton, and he says, I hope Jenn is selling her energy pills, smiley face.
Thanks, Mitch.
But he does say that email marketing is one of his. Let me read you a few more. Ann says Facebook ads. Kenneth says networking, some more Facebook ads and blogging. Christy says local networking meetings. Facebook is a lot of Facebook ads. Meetup groups, direct email marketing, shows in general. Okay, networking, electronic newsletter, a lot of networking. Instagram.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, good, good. It's basically what I thought it was going to be, and that's good news. And I don't have energy pills, and I really only drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I'm just naturally just a freakazoid of energy. I don't know where it comes from, but so that is not unusual. And what happens is, because you guys are not marketers, right? You don't know. You're just doing these activities in hopes that during that activity, something's going to click and you're going to be in somebody's inbox at the right time, right? But the challenge is that you might be in the inbox at the right time or at the show at the right time, but it's not the only, if it's the only time, you're going to run into challenges. So let me just ask everybody, and by the end of this, you're going to have a strong idea of what you could do to change. Okay, I'm going to give you some resources to help you make that change. But most importantly, you're going to have clarity of, aha, that's why I need to do this when this happens. I'm going to give you that formula, guys. So let me ask you, everybody, a question. How many times do you think you need to touch somebody? And unfortunately, you can't see me. I've got the little quotations. I don't mean physically touch, but how many times do you feel like you need to touch somebody? That means putting yourself in front of them before they're going to take action. Just start typing in your guesses. Is it 3 times, 10 times, 37 times? How many times on average, from a marketing standpoint, do you need to touch someone before something happens?
Okay. So the majority of folks have this right, and some are really close to it. Yeah, I believe the answer to that is 7 to like 12 or something. And that seems to be, a lot of people are saying a minimum of 7, 10 to 15, 7. Some are a little less than that, 8 to 10. So it's all, somebody says 30. Okay, well, there you go. 17. Okay. Um, let's see. That's about it. Okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the
So
gist of
it used to be those that said 7 were correct a few years back, about 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's 11.
it. Okay.
So, and honestly, I bet if I take a look at some marketing data next year, it might be that 12 to 15 times. And if you think about it, the reason why it's so many times is because we are inundated with information and with content. It's constantly, right? So we're getting it on our phones, we've got it on our computers, we're getting it face to face, we've got it in our emails, we've got it in our networking groups, we get it on TV. Heck, we even just watching something on TV, you're getting inundated with messages when, you know, the Real Housewife of Beverly Hills is rolling her face with one of those roller balls. You're kind of starting to get a little, what the heck is that thing, right? Well, that's called the beginning of that sales funnel. And it takes about 11 times before someone actually starts to take action. And I don't mean action in the fact that they purchase, but taking that first set of action. So a sales funnel is also known as a marketing funnel, but I've been doing some Googling. I was telling Joni this. I'm like, I Googled a lot of this stuff just to make sure what I knew to be true, you know, was true, because I tend to think I'm right on a lot of stuff, but I wanted some other people to say I was right. So you guys, I want you to Google some of this stuff. But one of the best sales funnel definitions that I came up with, I kind of crafted this, is a simple sales funnel definition is any process you use to guide someone to make a purchase. It's a process that you use to guide someone to make a purchase. The key word in here is the guide, right? And we talk about that, Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand, which is another webinar that I've done, and I'll give you these resources at the end. But it's a process, which means it's proactive. It's not spaghetti against the wall. I hope it works. There's a process, and I'm going to show you that process, and it's designed to guide your prospect to make a purchase. It's not just a spray and pray and a spaghetti against the wall and hope something sticks. It's an actual process. Make sense?
Totally.
And here's what a typical sales and or marketing funnel looks like. There is the awareness. And this is, if you think about it, it's a journey that your prospect goes through. And think about it for yourself, right? You know, you see something, you hear about something, you encounter something. It could be a brick and mortar. It could be you walk past a beauty salon, you walk past a Chinese restaurant and it smells really good. That's the awareness. So you start with the awareness to the interest. Hey, I've got an interest in this. you make a decision that you definitely want to do something, and then you take action to do it. And again, you'll see this a couple of different ways. There's sales funnels that have like 6 layers to them. I like this because it's super simple. And I'm going to break it down for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the awareness, where your customer or your prospective customer is during that phase, how you can be touching them, or touching them, that's the right word, how you could be touching them for it, and what's going to happen next. So, and what's your messaging? So let's break it down. In the awareness phase, which is the top of the funnel, and if you look at, let me go back for a second, if you look at a funnel, it starts out, you get a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on you, right? But only so many are going to take an actual interest. And out of those that with the interest, only so many are going to actually go to the decision phase. And quite frankly, even those that decide to reach out to you and touch you, there's only going to be so many that are going to take action. So you need a lot of eyeballs, a lot of touching needs to happen at the awareness phase. Okay, so at the awareness phase, let me break this down to you. In the prospect's mind, it's a potential customer who knows nothing about you. You don't even exist in their minds at this point. So even if you're sending email marketing to somebody, you've actually already received their email from something. So they're past the awareness phase at this point. And so those that are not having success with email, as we go through this funnel, I'm going to give you some points on what you can do and change with the email marketing. But Facebook ads, that's complete strangers, right? Going to a show or a networking event, a lot of times that's a complete stranger. So in the awareness phase, you got to reach a lot of eyeballs to get into this funnel. So it's a potential customer that knows nothing about you. You don't even exist in their minds. And here are some of the strategies to gain awareness. Obviously, your social media. You can be a guest on others' podcasts, right? Become a guest on somebody else's podcast. Joni and I were just talking about how Andy and his wife just were a guest on a podcast. Well, that's a lot of new eyeballs and ears listening to Andy. You can find new eyeballs through blogs, either yours or maybe you guest blog for somebody. You can find new eyeballs on a YouTube channel, launching a YouTube channel. Again, either your YouTube channel or maybe you're a guest on somebody else's. You can be a guest speaker on at events, at your networking event, and again, a podcast or in local networking. These are some typical ones. What are some other things, guys? Go ahead and type in. So what are some other things that you do to gain awareness or to find people who don't even know who you are? Tell me, let's type in some ideas to share with one another.
Okay. Ask for referrals, sponsor local events. I'm waiting for some more. Write articles.
Yep.
All of those are great. Pass business cards. Guest speaker at a local moms group meeting. Good job, Crystal. That's a great idea.
Perfect.
Okay, let's see if there's any. Become a media source for writers.
Yes.
Okay, those are all great. Those are some great ideas.
Good. All right, you guys are on the right track. So you know where you can get some eyeballs, but what do you do with those eyeballs? Here is where the secret sauce is. In every stage of the sales funnel or the marketing funnel, your messaging has to be a little bit different based on where they are in the journey. So remember, this is a journey and you're the guide. You're walking them through a process through their journey, understanding kind of where they are and adjusting your messaging based on that. So in the awareness phase, your messaging should highlight the problem you know they have and talk about how you solve it. So let's just say, let's use the guest speaker at the moms group. So whoever that advisor is, if you're a guest speaker, chances are you've chosen this moms group to speak. If it's about your business, okay, if you want to kind of promote what you do. If you've chosen that, then you probably already know 2 or 3 things that you know moms have challenges with, or the problems from a travel standpoint that moms have. So in your speech, or in your blog that you're writing, or in the podcast that you're speaking to, or in the Facebook ad that you're running, you want to start out with, you know, as a mom, your desire is to ensure that the family gets together once a year without killing one another. and that we walk away with memories that we're happy to share for years on end, right? So you know that's the problem. And guys, go back to my last podcast, my last webinar I did with Joni, and we talked about this process. But highlight that problem. So you do that in your messaging at the awareness phase. You have to do that because that's what gets their attention. Ah, she gets me. He gets me. They understand me. Ah, there's an awareness. Now they're connecting that person that's speaking to a problem that they have that they don't even know they have or that they think they have, and you're talking about how you solve it. That's how you get eyeballs to stay with you in this awareness phase. Does that make sense?
Total sense to me.
Okay, so we're going to have questions, I'm sure, along the way. So now we're in the awareness phase. So let's just say you talk to 100 people, whether you talk to them via an ad, a blog, 100 people read your blog, 100 people listened to your podcast, 100 people showed up to the meeting, whatever it is. The next phase is the interest phase. This is when things start getting a little exciting because the eyeballs are on you, but only a handful, only a percentage are actually going to show an interest. And in the interest phase, the prospect has a growing interest and begins to interact with you and start making what we call micro decisions. These are little things that they do along the way at this phase that kind of says, I think I'm kind of interested. Some of the things they do are like they comment on your social media post. Maybe they're asking questions during your interaction. They saw you on YouTube and they subscribe to your channel. They ask for your business card. Many people in marketing, let's just say you're speaking or you're doing a Facebook ad and you're like, you're traveling with 3 kids, but you don't want to check any baggage. Send this, scan this QR code and I will send you a PDF of the 15 tips to pack for a family of 5, right? And that's called what do they call that? A lead magnet. And if they download that PDF, then all of a sudden, they've shown some sort of interest. They have a growing interest and they begin to interact with you. Maybe they send you a Facebook friend request. Those are all indicators. Aha, that eyeball, I've connected with them. I must have done something good because now they're showing a little bit of interest. What are some other some people call that like a buying signal, but in this case, you're still guiding them through. It's a brand new person. They don't know you. These are people who don't know you. This is what we're talking about. You're attracting new eyeballs, and so they make micro decisions. Then the messaging during this phase is to back and acknowledge their decision and showcase where they are in their journey. So let's go back to comments on social posts. So let's say you posted something and somebody commented, right? Or they tagged a friend of theirs on that social media post, or they asked a question during your speech. You always, during this phase, want to somehow along the line say, that's a great question, or I hear that often. You want to back and acknowledge their decision. Hey, I'm so glad you asked that. You know what? I get that all the time. When they show an interest, you want to show an interest back and also support that they're kind of in the right place. And then showcase where they are in their journey. At this stage, you also say something like, yeah, I get that question often. I bet you're wondering, how do people do it, right? I get a lot of those questions. So in the interest phase is really, to me, the most important phase. If you do not respond or do not have your messaging strong during the interest phase, they're gonna leak out. They're gonna jump out of the funnel. The awareness is the fun phase. I'm creating copy, I'm creating stuff, I'm talking to people, I'm having a good time, I'm doing all this, kind of all about you, even though you're saying, like, you've nailed the speech, right? You've nailed the blog. And when they show interest, if you ignore them or don't support and acknowledge their decision of their interest, they're just going to go away. Does that make sense?
It does. You really have to reinforce, don't you, what they're saying. You need to make them feel good about what they are sharing with you, and how you know about it.
Well, and also, again, if you ever listen to any of my webinars, and again, I'm going to share some at the end of this that we've done together with Travel Professional News, but this is all about people. This is all about connections. That's all this is. People buy on emotion and justify logically. We are in the emotional phase here. Do they get me? Do they understand me? Can they solve a problem that I didn't even know that they knew I had? And I want you to think about your buying cycle. I use Facebook as a perfect example. When I'm scrolling, I don't know how all of a sudden there are ads coming up for sober sis. Okay, so there's a whole growing trend out there for people who are trying not to drink every single day. I think it's because after post-COVID, they realize everyone's drinking every day, right? So I'm finding myself like having a glass of wine or two every single night, and I'm like, gosh, that can't be good for me. I'm gaining weight, and I know that's not good. I'm not trying to numb any pain. I'm a very happy person, but I like wine. All of a sudden in my Facebook feed, I'm starting to see these things about sober cis. And then I realize, that's interesting. So I pause. Well, that's an interest. That's one of those micro decisions, right? And in Facebook, they know you pause, and so they start feeding you more and more and more. And Sober Sis, who is the ad that I'm pausing on, sends that ad to me a couple of different times with a couple of different messages. The next one is, yeah, I bet you're tired of drinking 2 glasses of wine every day. Or the one after that is, it makes total sense that you're thinking about not drinking wine every single day. They are taking me through a sales funnel, a marketing funnel, where every single time I'm like, are they reading my mind? And the answer is not really. They understand who their customer is, and they understand this funnel. Okay, now I don't want to overthink it for you guys. I just want you to know this information. So in the interest phase, whatever that interaction is, that little micro decision that they did, make sure you do a follow-up and utilize words like, yep, I understand where you're coming from, or hey, it makes sense. Oh, hey, I see you downloaded the PDF. Don't go straight into, how can I help plan your vacation? No. Hey, guess what? You're the 37th person today to download the PDF. Sounds like we all are packing too much these days, right? That would be like an email marketing verbiage to go back to somebody. Okay, in the interest phase. Sometimes I feel like I talk too large for everybody. I'm sorry. If you just pick up one thing out of this webinar, you're going to be successful. Now, from the interest phase, there's going to be even a smaller amount of people that make a decision. Okay, they go to the decision phase. This person really gets me. I think I've decided I want to do business with this person, but they haven't quite given you the credit card. Okay, but here are the things that you'll start seeing. Now they're really getting serious. They start to compare you and your offerings with others. Directly, you may know they're in the decision phase because they start emailing you with questions. Maybe they email you and ask for a call. Maybe they fill out your little consultation form. Maybe you find out from a friend of yours, hey, I just talked to Samantha over here, and she was just asking me about you. How exciting. So they're making some direct motions and actions, but this is what I want you to understand. Indirectly, here's what they're doing. They're Googling for more information, they're comparing you to others, and they're Googling for reviews on you. And if it's not Google, it's Facebook. Trust me. They're Googling. They're checking you out. Now, what does that mean for you? You know this is happening in the background. You can see it because they're emailing you with questions, they're calling your friends, they're asking for a call. You know they're in the decision phase of the funnel. So you know that they are serious, but they just need a little bit more information. So your messaging would be to highlight reviews in your messaging when you send to them. You want to go ahead and overcome objections in your messaging that you know they may have at this stage. So let me go back. Directly, if you see them taking these actions, emailing you questions, asking for a call, filling out your form, calling your friends, sending you a face, if they start reaching out to you, make sure when you know, aha, they're in the decision phase, these are some of the other things I know they're doing. So make sure when you're messaging back, you highlight reviews. You talk about, hey, yeah, I'm so glad you reached out, as a mother. As I have lots of mothers that reach out to me or families that reach out to me about vacations. And I just did one last week where they came back and finally they had a vacation where they didn't need a vacation from their vacation. You can check out my reviews over here. Or you just send them an email and you just coincidentally happen to have a review down there at the bottom of your email. right? Or click here to see testimonials. You know they're looking for reviews at this point. You know they're trying to overcome some objections. At this point in your messaging, it could be things like, hey, at this part, I know when you've not worked with a travel advisor before, there's a lot of questions that you don't know answers to with regards to how the fee structure works. I'm going to make sure to walk you through that. That's an objection they may have, and it also helps you in setting the tone of how you do business. But the important thing to know is if they're doing these things, emailing, asking, they're in the decision phase. Don't go straight for the sale. Understand they still a little bit more information. Unless they're a bull, which bulls go straight from awareness straight to action, and that's on the personality selling webinar that I did. Okay, now we're in the action, which is the bottom of the funnel. They say, yes, let's do it. Congrats, you have a new customer. Whoops, I'm actually raising my hands over here, you guys. I wish you could see me. You have a new client. Congratulations. In this case, the action phase in my world is when they give you the credit card. It's not when they call for the consultation. That's the decision phase. It's when you've sent the quote, they've accepted the quote, they've signed your terms and agreements, and they've given you the credit card. You have a new client. Let's all give ourselves a round of applause. Woo! But you're not done. I know. Don't be depressed. Here's the thing. Buyer's remorse is a very real thing. Just because they gave you the credit card doesn't mean they're 1,000% committed, unless they are a bull, I promise you. They're not 1,000% committed. Ensure in your messaging you continue to support their decision by saying things like, this is going to be such a great adventure. I'm really getting excited for you. Make sure you tap back into that emotion. You're going to need to get through about a week to 10 days after they've given you the credit card for them to settle in most of the time, or just to ensure that they are rock solid. And that is the sales funnel. And quite frankly, after this part of the sales funnel, then, and this is probably my next webinar, we're going to talk about the flywheel, which is what happens after somebody buys. And after they love you, how do you leverage that to take you all the way back to awareness with somebody new, a potential customer who knows nothing about you, that you don't even exist in their minds until this point. That was a lot of information.
It was good stuff, though. It's all good stuff.
All right, put in your objections. Ask me your questions. I want to help you.
All right, I hear a lot about reviews, and my challenge as a newer agent with few and far clients is I don't have a lot of reviews.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
It is. So, you only need 2 to be valid. Really. You only need 1 that actually hits that particular customer and says to them, okay, this person gets me. You actually can have a review about you when you're brand new versus your travel curation expertise. Okay, so tell me about who you have. Like if you've got a couple of customers, and again, I'm gonna pause there for a second. When you feel like you don't have a lot of that, that's okay. Just leverage what you have a couple of different ways. I think a couple of webinars ago, I talked about how to ask for reviews, which is you actually asking a couple of questions. Share with me what surprised you the most about your vacation. What was your biggest pleasant surprise? And share with me the problem I overcame that you didn't expect. Share with me something you didn't expect from my services. You only need 1 client to answer that. You can use that 1 testimonial and flip it around and make it a different testimonial based on who you're talking to. You can take that 1 testimonial and ask a couple of more questions. It doesn't have to be, remember, people aren't necessarily concerned about how much money you save them. They're not really concerned about the logic. At the end, it's really about the emotional impact. It's about how you solve that emotional problem. And if you only have 1 review, then you've got a review for people to look at. You don't have to have a bunch.
It's a start. It's a start, definitely.
Everybody starts at 1.
Exactly. So I have a question that Mitch is asking. He's asking, do you know by chance of any CRM that supports this and not merely transactions and deals?
Yeah, and again, I'm going to tell you, Google, there's a lot of YouTube videos, and there's some podcast episodes out there that talk about marketing funnels and sales funnels. But one of the CRM blogs that I use quite a bit is HubSpot. And
Okay.
that is not a travel industry CRM.
No, it isn't, but it's a great CRM.
An excellent. We use it here at TPI internally. And you can build marketing funnels and sales funnels and automation emails and everything through there. The other thing that you guys want to take a look at, wherever you go now, everyone's scanning QR codes. You can get a QR code through code reader and scan it. You ask for their information and you have some giveaway. It's a checklist. Most people like checklists or resource pages. Nobody wants to read a bunch of articles. We don't read anymore. But just say, hey, if you scan this QR code and I'm going to give you a checklist on the 15 ways to, the 10 dive bars in Europe, if that's your thing, right? Or the 7 things nobody knew to do in Portugal. It depends on where you are. You always want to give content based on who it is that you want to get into the sales funnel, right? You want to get the eyeballs that turn into an interest. And to do that, you've got to be in the right place at the right time with the right message. And each place is different. When you're at a networking group, it's busy professionals, right? When you're at a mom's group, it's busy and stressed out moms. It's moms that don't have a clue of what to do for their family. It's moms that don't have time to do it. When you are writing a blog post, it's whatever is your niche. What is it that you get excited about? I say this all the time to advisors. I'm like, stop trying to create content, document your journey. And that's really documenting what you do every single day. If you get one person that calls you and says, I want to go to Alaska, or I want to go to Vancouver, or I think I want to do a rail trip, or what does it look like to get on a train? What is that all about? As soon as you start doing that research, you have yourself 3 or 4 social media posts that you can post. You have a white paper or a blog that you could write. You have a podcast that you could talk about. You have a video that you could do. You now have a checklist that you could give out. Everything that you currently do can be turned into content immediately because you're already doing the work. Take it and slice it up. And as we go through this sales funnel or this marketing funnel, that is the entrance, that's the entree to the awareness.
Okay, I got a couple more questions for you, Jen.
Gotcha.
I'm going to answer this one for everybody. You don't have to answer this one. I will answer this one. Cindy is asking, what is the website for all these webinar resources? And Cindy, these are all available at travelprofessionalnews.com. And you can just click on the webinars area and look for recorded webinars, host agency webinars, and you'll find them right there.
I've got it on the screen. I've got it on the screen.
You've got it up there. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. So then we have some other questions. Somebody says their problem is that people tag them in their Facebook posts after their vacations to recommend them, but they don't have that on their webpage as official reviews. How do I get these types of reviews where people can actually see them?
So anybody who tags you, reach out to them via Facebook message because they're on Facebook right now, right? When they do that, and say, thank you so much for tagging me. May I, I'm so glad you enjoyed the trip, or thank you for recommending me. Do you have 3 minutes to chat with me on the phone? Or, hey, I'm always looking to build my business through referrals or through reviews. Would you mind answering these 2 or 3 questions and I can put together a review for you? And then you put it on your website. You put it in your email signature. I saw somebody, this was a couple of years ago, and I haven't seen it since, and I think everyone should jump back into it. She had like a rotating, and it's one of our advisors, and so every time I'd see her email, there was a different one. And it was like, I think she called it like, latest accolades or latest kudos or latest client, or I can't remember, it was something like that, or from the words of a client, and she would just type her reviews and she had it in her email signature.
That's brilliant. Really good. All right, so here's another one for you. I have an email list of about 500 people. That's great, by the way, Vicki. I
Yes.
consistently send an email with an article that is a destination specific article. I have about an 81% open rate. That's fantastic. And a
Mhm.
14% click rate, but I can't seem to get sales out of it. Any
Okay.
suggestions?
Yes, yes. First off, those are great numbers. So the click rate, and I forgot to say this in this portion. In this portion, highlight the problem you know they have and talk about how you solve it. You have to have a strong call to action so that they have something, a micro decision they can make. And or in the micro decisions, right? So the click, in your case, the click through is a micro decision. They clicked on whatever it was that you had in there. Where is your call to action to set up an appointment, to learn more? Are they downloading something? Anyone who opens it, how are you following up with them afterwards? Take those people who opened it and clicked, pull them out and send them a separate email that's got messaging about this, you
Perfect.
know?
Yep. Okay.
So it's what's happening. Remember I said, guys, it's when they show you that micro decision, which is everyone who opened is a micro decision, and then everyone who clicked is even stronger micro decision. I'm not sure what you're having them click to, but what are you doing? How are you communicating just with that group of people without being weird? Hey, I saw you downloaded my thing. Don't do that. But you know what I
I
mean?
see you're stalking me.
Hey, I saw you click on this Tuesday at 2:15. What's happening? Instead, make it easy for them to tell you it's okay to reach out to me. So give them a micro decision to make that's a call to action that allows you to then pull it back out, pull those people out, send a different email to them and say something like, many of you have downloaded, or, I got a lot of positive feedback about the last thing, blah, blah, blah. That's you just saying, hey, I got a lot of feedback. If you've got an 18 or 14% click rate, I don't know what they clicked on. If you have them just clicking to your website and your website doesn't have a pop-up that says, hey, thanks for being here, would love an opportunity to chat with you about your needs, fill out these 3 things, answer these 3 questions, then all they're doing is going to your website. It's kind of like somebody who saw a flyer on you put a flyer on somebody's windshield, okay, underneath the little windshield wiper. They took the flyer, they follow the directions to your flower shop. They knocked on the door opened automatically for them because they came and they knocked and the door opened and there's nobody inside to help them. When you get to that phase and you don't do something, it's no different than that. You just said, come on in. You haven't given them any kind of guidance on how they can do business, how they can pick out the right flowers. How much are the flowers? Do you deliver the flowers? So you got to have a good, strong call to action to connect with you and to keep the conversation going.
Fantastic. That's great information. Got another question for you. Which segment of this funnel is appropriate for discussing fees?
When they come to the decision, and actually it's at the action, right? So it's really here. Highlight the reviews in your messaging, overcome objections in this portion, in the decision portion. In this portion, it could be, hey, thank you. I see that you have filled out for our consultation. I'm really looking forward to it. Here are some of the questions most people ask me. And you could put it in your follow-up email, or it's an automated email, or when they're going to fill out the form, you've driven them to a section on your website that says, hey, I'm super excited that I'm excited that you're ready to have a discussion about this. Here are some of the most commonly asked questions. Or it's when you get them on the phone, they've set up a call with you, they've asked for a call, you're on the call. Go back to one of my other webinars that talks about how people buy on emotion and justify logically. You've got to walk them through this guide. You're going to have your normal qualifying questions, right? Like you have your normal qualifying questions, and at the end of it, you say, okay, so based on everything that we've talked about, looks like you want to go to Alaska. It's you and the husband and 3 kids. Based on some of the things you've told me, I'm thinking Holland America or NCL is going to be the best cruise choice for you. We're looking at October time, or July time frame. No problem. Things might get a little inventory might be scarce on that. So we've already discussed that you're ready to make that decision as soon as I find it. I'm going to send over the quote to you. I'm also going to send my terms and conditions, which makes it easy for you to understand how we operate well together. In there, you're going to have the schedule of fees, which will talk about my concierge fee, cancellation fee, and modification fee. And there'll be a credit card authorization form with that as well. And you send it. How's that sound? And you send it.
Exactly. And you give them all the answers they need right there.
Yeah, it's no different. Here's the thing I find that, and it's not just this industry. For those of you that know me, I came from outside of the industry 6.5 years ago, and this is what I used to do. I used to help entrepreneurs launch their businesses, and it did not matter who they were, what industry they were in. There's always a group that are just like, they have a tough time with the process because they're not used to it. They're used to a process already being established. And so they knew how to exact that process, how to implement somebody else's process, and there was no emotion tied to it. When it's your business, when it's your paycheck that every dime you have to earn, all of a sudden that feeling of rejection or that feeling of how do I do this becomes really huge. But if you worked for another company that told you here's what we do, you would just repeat the words and do it, and you'd be done with it. But there's just something that happens when you open your own business. We get really passionate and it's personal. So it's no different, guys. It's just words. It's just words and processes.
Okay, does anybody have any other comments or questions for Jenn? I think you've just given everybody so much stuff. They're like, whoa, where do I start?
I know. I knew when I was doing this.
Though. No, it's all good. Everybody,
yeah.
You can always watch this again. It's being recorded, and so I really recommend that you let it digest a little bit what Jenn has shared, and then go back again tomorrow and watch it again, and just see. You're going to get things you didn't get out of it today. It's just It's one of those kind of processes. Somebody said, besides checklists, what else can they create? What would you recommend?
So checklists, which are like tips and tricks that only you guys know. Another thing you can do are secret finds. Everyone likes a secret. I'm going to tell you, one of our advisors, Chip Barker, booked a hotel for me in Salt Lake City. I think it was Kimpton. And he said, hey, listen, make sure when you go to the front desk, you use the secret word, whatever it was. Let's just say it was webinar. Because if you use that word, you're going to get either free parking or a bottle of champagne. Or no, he didn't even tell me what it was. He said, use that word and you're going to get something. I thought he was the smartest guy in the whole wide world. Like, that was such a great tip, right? Well, that's just a tip that he read in a newsletter. So you guys, you have tips all over the place. Give away a couple of those tips. 7 things. It's always like 3, 5, 7, 10, or 11, right? Like 7 things you should always ask the front desk clerk for. 7 it's every blog post you've seen, but it's stuff that you guys know. 7 bars you must hit if you like bourbon. 7 bourbon bars. Anything like that. They like lists. You can certainly give recommendations. You can do, those are the things people like. I was starting to think about something else. But people don't read. They like lists. They like resources. Don't overthink it. Do you have something in mind, whoever asked that question?
We'll wait and see. Haven't got anything yet.
That's okay.
I got one more question, and it is, what is the right content process? Is it like starting with a Facebook post, then a blog post, a video, etc.? She's just kind of looking for the best process.
The best process is the one that you're going to actually implement on a regular and consistent basis with excitement. So you don't have to do, so for me, these webinars actually become content for me for other things. So when Joni says, all right, Jenn, you've got a webinar coming up, I have to sit here and go, what the heck am I going to talk about, right? So I think about something, and then that becomes a couple of different Facebook posts that I use on our Fiercely Forward Facebook group, which you're all welcome to attend. Join. It's not a TPI thing. It's just something that I launched in 2020. That also becomes talking points when we're at events. It also can become a blog post or a version or an article that I might be responsible for writing. So it starts for me, the thing I get most excited about are these webinars. So it kind of starts there, and then I make other content from that. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's whatever you get most excited about and that you're going to actually implement. There is no you must do this. There just isn't. It's whatever you're going to do with passion.
Exactly. And with regularity, you don't want to drop the ball,
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I've got your last question, then we'll go ahead and do the prize, I think. So
Okay.
when someone scans the code, how do
Mhm.
you send that information out? Is it an automated process?
So when you go to QR code reader, and that's what I think she's talking about,
Yes.
you actually, when you're building it on the qrcodereader.com, or there's a couple of them, just Google it, it'll say, where do you want this to go? Do you want to build a form? Do you want this to be a form that then sends an automated email? You've got to connect it with like your email marketing program. At TPI, we have free email marketing for our advisors. It's called Monarch, and they can build a landing page. So if somebody does a QR code, it'll go straight to this landing page, and in the landing page they can say, to get the 12 tips, please give us your information. Or it could be a landing page that's got information on a cruise, like a group cruise. A lot of our advisors do big groups, right? And they're like, hey, if you're interested in going on this group cruise, scan this QR code, and it takes them right to that information. It's a technology thing that the QR code reader will walk you through. They're going to want to know, where do you want to send them? It's just a scan. Where do you want to send them?
It's actually such a brilliant process. So I have to share this. I thought this was so smart. At the Cruise World, our friend Sandy Elson, I think Sandy might be on here, she
Hey,
had moved and she forgot and she had purposely had brand new business cards printed up for Cruise World. And then she left them at home by accident, which we've all done. It's like, it happens. And
mm-hmm.
so she created a QR code on her phone of her business card so that she could share it with the suppliers. I thought, damn, that's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. We have the same thing. We don't even have business cards anymore. We just have the QR code for people to scan. And when I was at Cruise World, I said to everyone, scan the QR code and answer these 3 questions. Well, those 3 questions, they gave me their name, their email, and they answered the question. Then I used that information the next day. So I took them through a sales funnel. Hold on. Gosh darn it. I just went out of the whole darn thing. I'll just go right here. I took the awareness, people who didn't know me, I was on stage speaking. I gave them a QR code. Those that scanned the QR code, that said that they showed an interest of some sort. From that, I gave a follow-up email to people. From that follow-up email, I had a call to action for them to be able to have a free squeeze session with Jenn Lee, which was the decision phase to this. Now, I'm not going to talk about TPI whatsoever, but out of that, 3 people joined TPI.
Yay, awesome.
So it's simple, and it comes naturally once you understand. I'm in front of people who, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. I don't think you can. I'm in front of people who don't know me. I've got to give them an opportunity to tell me they have some sort of interest. From that, I'm gonna support that interest. After that interest, then I'm going to give them a call to action that makes it easy for them to make a decision to reach out to me directly to continue our conversation. And then from that conversation, once they give you the credit card, they're taking action. That means they've given you the credit card. You've gotten yourself a new client down here at the bottom.
Someone just shared, thank you for this. They said, I think they spell it Blink, but it's BLINQ. They said it's an app that allows you to have a digital business card with it. So
Perfect.
Nikki, thanks for sharing that with the QR code. So thanks for sharing that. All right. Yep. So I guess we're ready.
These are the 3 resources that will support what we're talking about today. Perfect. Personality telling, gain control from the beginning, is all about 4 different personality types: bulls, owls, lambs, and tigers. I'm telling you, it will change the way you talk to everybody in your life. 5 word swaps that'll increase your sales. These are 5 things I see travel advisors say that they shouldn't say. I'm going to give you something that you should say. And then the one we just did not too long ago, marketing verbiage that grabs and keeps their attention, which will give you more sales.
That
Those are all
personality selling is one of my favorites. I love that thing. You folks have to, if you haven't seen that, I've watched that one. It is so good. It's like all of a sudden you go, aha, that's why. It's so cool.
Yeah, trust
So
me.
Yeah.
You want to hear that one. Okay, let's do the questions.
Are you ready? Do you want to give them or do you want me to give them?
I'll give them because I know you got to focus on finding whoever the winner.
The right answer. Yeah, you don't want me to mess that up. Yeah.
Okay, guys. First off, thank you guys for spending time with me. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a lot of information, but like Jenny said, go back and listen. All right, and 2 people can actually call me, or we can have a 30-minute consultation about this. Okay, complete this sentence. Y'all ready? This is question number 1. Complete this sentence.
Hold. We're taking number 5, folks, just so you know.
Got it.
Okay.
Question number 1, complete this sentence. The simple definition of a sales funnel is any blank you use to blank someone to make a blank. So it's 3 words. The simple definition of a sales funnel is any blank you use to blank someone to make a blank.
All right. We have our winner, number 5. Process, guide, purchase, and it's Lori Power.
Hey, Lori. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lori. That was well done. Well, everybody was getting that right. That was awesome. Okay. All right.
That means I did
number
a
2.
good job.
You guys are hot.
Yeah, they're hot. They're hot. They're ready. All right. Second question, true or false? Get ready, people. Once a client has purchased, my sales funnel is done. True or false?
Whoa, they're flying in on that one. And nobody's gotten this one wrong. So count down to number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is Brandy Spears. Brandy, you are the winner.
Wonderful. Congrats, Brandy. I'm so excited to talk to you and Lori. I will send you guys an email with a link to my calendar, and you can just plop in anytime that's convenient for you, and we will talk about anything you want to talk about. Anything.
And Brandy says, woohoo. Congratulations. Well, this has been fantastic. Your webinars always are so energizing. I love it. And I don't know, you say you don't have a pill for it, but I would have to venture to say, like Mitch shared, that you must be drinking a really large cup if you only have 1 cup of coffee a day.
We love you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you, sweet Jen. You are the best, and thank you for sharing your expertise and your knowledge with everybody today. And everybody that's on the webinar, appreciate you guys being here. I hope everybody has an absolutely beautiful next week, Thanksgiving. If you're from Canada, you had your Thanksgiving already, but for the rest of us, happy Thanksgiving, folks. We're grateful for all of you at Travel Professional News. Have a great day.
Take care.